Welcome back to Growth Over Easy. Today, I want to talk about how we each live in our own simulation when it comes to our relationship. And when it comes to what we think our partner thinks about us or how we think our partner is, and the lens that we see our partner through, and how clouded it can get due to our beliefs about them and our beliefs about the relationship. This is something that's been coming up a lot lately for me in doing couples sessions, where if you talk to each person separately or even together, their view of the relationship can be vastly different. And their experience of what is happening in the relationship or what is happening during conflict can be vastly different. Now, Terry Real talks about this in terms of having a CNI, a core negative image of your partner, meaning that all of us have this filter that is the worst possible version that we believe our partner could show up as. And in reality, this core negative image doesn't actually exist of our partner. But this is how we view them when we're really upset or when we're in our head about the argument, we're not actually communicating with them. There was a study or an experiment done, I believe it was in the late 70s, early 80s. It's often called the scar experiment, where participants would have this realistic looking fake scar applied to their face with makeup. And they were shown the scar in a mirror and they fully believed it was there because they saw it on their face. Now, right before they would go out and interact with others, the researchers would say something like, "We're going to touch up the scar." And actually, they'd completely remove the scar. But what would happen is that participants who believed that they had this grotesque scar on their face would report that when they were around other people, people were staring at them, they felt really uncomfortable, they felt judged, and they would interpret just natural behavior as this negative or this rejecting behavior. And the key finding in the study is that belief shapes perception more than reality does. And that's really important, especially when it comes to romantic relationships, because that core negative image, our belief about our partner, shapes the reality we experience with our partner more than the reality of how they're actually showing up. I had a client who, anytime his wife would make a request or give any form of feedback, he felt like he was being criticized. So much so that something as innocent as asking, "Hey, do you mind hanging your coat up?" was met with a lot of defensiveness and a lot of anger because it was being coded into his system as this person is criticizing me and nothing is ever good enough for her. And as we started to slow that down and look at those situations and map things that had happened earlier on in his life, his mom was really critical. Nothing was ever good enough for her. Grades were never high enough. The house was never clean enough. Nothing could really make her happy. And so that little bit of feedback or request from his wife was attached to this childhood wound of, "I can't get mom to love me." And when our early childhood wounds meet our core negative image of our partner, and again, any of those other experiences we have had that have shaped how we do relationship, how we attach, how we connect with other people, when that all gets coupled together, we start to live in this simulation, our own personal simulation inside of our relationship, where we're not seeing the world as it is, we're seeing it through who we are. And if we don't take time to slow it down and try to clear up our cloudy lens, it can be detrimental to our relationships. So, how do we clean our glasses? How do we start to view our relationship for what it is instead of through the lens of a CNI, through the lens of past wounds? So, how do we deal with this? What do we do when the lens that we're viewing our relationship through is so clouded that we're stuck in our own personal simulation that is just creating havoc for our relationship? Well, in order to get rid of the deeper things, the bigger boulders in life, I strongly suggest you work with someone who is skilled at not just doing the cognitive work, but doing the somatic work with you and the belief work to start to see things differently. If you're looking for someone to do that with, please click the link in the show notes, book a call with me. I would love to support you. But something I want you to try today, just a tool I want you to try on if this is something you struggle with. I want you to start to look for the good in your relationship. I want you to start to program yourself to see things about your partner that you love, things that you admire, and things that you respect. These can be simple things. It could be appreciating that they held the door open for you when you were walking behind them. Or when they went to get a glass of water, they asked you if you wanted a glass of water. Or maybe you went to dinner with some friends and they shared their pickle from their BLT with you because they know you like pickles. I am talking super granular. And if you truly cannot find anything, then I want you to think back to when you first met them, when you first got into a relationship with them. Because I'm willing to bet there was something then that you admired, that you loved, that you respected about them. Otherwise, you likely wouldn't be in a relationship today. And then there's a part two to this. Once you get comfortable for several days practicing this, just writing down one simple thing, I want you to start leaving a note for your partner. Every few days, just write on a little sticky note. I admire this about you, or I appreciate blank. Thank you for blank. Very simple notes. You could leave it by the coffee maker in the morning so he sees it, or you could leave it on the bathroom mirror for when she's getting ready. But just a simple note, just a simple thing to say, hey, I appreciate this about you. And if you do this practice, you're doing two things. One, you're telling your own internal RAS system in your brain, your reticular activating system, to start filtering for things that you admire, respect, and love about your partner. And two, you're seeding the relationship with kindness. You're seeding the relationship with gratitude by expressing it to the other person. And after you do this for a solid, we'll say 2 to 3 weeks, send me an email and let me know how it goes. And again, if you want to go deeper, if you're ready to truly transform the simulation you're living in your relationship because you want to drop defensiveness, you want to move back into a state of love and connection with your partner, click the link in the show notes and book a call with me. Let's get your relationship back on track. I hope you have a wonderful week and I hope you choose growth.